If you spend more time fighting about homework than actually doing it, this video's for you. It's for those afternoons where you're like, just do your math, and they're melting down over two problems. I've got 4 scripts that actually work. No bribing, no yelling, and no 2-hour battles. Hi, my name's Sabrina Reagan, child psychologist and mom of 3. I help overwhelmed moms create calm, confident homes without yelling or power struggles. Here's exactly what I'm going to cover in this video today. Why homework battles really happen and what's actually happening in your child's brain. 4 ready-to-use scripts for the most common homework battles. 5 practical tips that you can use tonight to make homework so much easier. And then how to handle meltdowns if they still happen, because they will. So let's dive in. I hear so many moms say, if I sit with him, it's 20 minutes. If I don't, it's 2 hours. Or I don't want homework to be my full-time job. You're exhausted, and that's valid. So homework resistance usually looks like stubbornness, but it's often really anxiety, overwhelm, and a need for connection. So today, I want to reframe the problem and then give you some scripts that preserve the relationship while still getting the job done. So what's really happening? Here's the truth of the matter. Your child's thinking brain, the part where all of the thinking, the logic, the reasoning, problem solving is still developing. And it's going to be developing for a long time. So when they're tired, anxious, or feel pressured, their emotions hijack the whole process. And if we rush to punish during that state, when their thinking brain's gone and their lower brain is fully in the driver's seat, nothing will ever change. Instead, you want to connect, simplify, give choices, and then follow through. So this sequence is the backbone of what I'm going to teach you today. If this is already clicking with you, hit the like button so I know that you want more videos like this in the future. Script number 1, the starter script. Fixes the won't start problem. I can see this feels hard. Let's try 2 problems together, and then you can do 2 by yourself. Which 2 do you want to start with? So when do you use the script? Right at homework time. As soon as they put the brakes on and they don't want to start. You want to make sure you do this before any power struggling happens, before any meltdowns happen, so that you can catch them before it's so intense that their thinking brain is completely gone and you have to do other strategies to be able to pull them back. So why does this work? It actually lowers the pressure that your child is feeling by offering a tiny start point. Oftentimes, when they see the whole picture, it can be really overwhelming. And this is the same for so many different things. Like if you're asking them to clean their room, if they see the whole room that has to be cleaned, most of the time kids won't start because it is overwhelming and there's too much pressure. By giving them a tiny point to start with, you're actually co-regulating with them and jump-starting their independence. It reduces their overwhelm and creates small, achievable steps. Script number 2, the perfection fix. This one is used when your child fears being wrong or not doing it well enough. Here's what you say. I don't need perfect. I just need you to try. Let's make this a practice round. You can change your answers later if needed. So why does this one work? There are so many kids who are anxious about getting things perfect. And if they have a fear of it being perfect, then they're not even going to start. This script removes the shame threat and reframes it as a learning opportunity and not meant for judgment. In doing this calms the alarm brain and allows their thinking brain to come back online. Script number 3, the choice within limit for when you can't sit with them. So the script goes something like this. I only have 10 minutes right now to help you with homework. So what part of your homework do you choose for me to help you with? And then you can continue on your own. So you want to use this one, obviously, when you can't be at their elbow all evening long trying to get their homework done. This works by preserving your boundary when you can't be their nightly homework monitor, while still offering them a little bit of agency within the choices. Kids cooperate more when they're given small choices. It gives them a little bit of power and control in the situation, and the brain likes to choose. So you'll have less meltdowns and more motivation to get things done if you can find a way to sneak in a little bit of a choice for your child. Last script. Script number 4, the dip out and check. This one is for long, drag out homework sessions. Here's how the script is. You have 10 minutes by yourself, and then I'm going to come back and check on you, and we'll do 2 problems together, and then you can continue on. So this obviously you want to use when the homework stretches on forever. But why does it work? It works because it gives your child something to look forward to, a connection touch point, so that they don't stall forever while still giving you the space to go and get other things done. Let's talk about some practical tips to end homework battles. The first one I want to start with is to make sure that you have some time for your child that's grounding combined with a snack before you enter the homework phase. After a long day at school, your child's brain is still overloaded, their sensory system is still overloaded, and they're in this go, go, go mode, which actually gives them the sense of too much. And if their bodies are feeling too much, they're incredibly easily triggered to a meltdown. And you're going to get way more power struggles than if you just took a few minutes for them to have a little bit of downtime and a little bit of snack to kind of restart their nervous systems. The snack also provides fuel for the brain, stabilizes your child's blood sugar, so they're better able to think and concentrate on their homework. They'll be less irritable, less distracted, and less prone to a meltdown. The next tip is to start with just 5 minutes of homework. And here's what you might say. After you're done your snack, let's sit down and we're going to try 2 problems together. And then you can finish the rest on your own. This tiny start, by only doing 2 problems, or at least telling them that you're only going to do 2 problems, gets their brains unstuck. Sometimes looking at everything can be incredibly overwhelming. And by narrowing it down to just starting with 2, allows them to be able to get into the process and be able to focus on something tiny. And then once they see it's not as overwhelming as they thought, their momentum will start to build. Why does this work? Small, quick wins release dopamine and kickstarts your child's motivation and helps kids kind of push past the I don't know where to start freeze experience. Next thing you can try is to give 2 clear choices. Instead of negotiating endlessly, going through the power struggles, bargaining, you can offer 2 options that work for both of you. So something like, you can do homework now or after dinner. Which would you prefer? Why does this work? Choices activate your child's sense of autonomy, which increases their desire for cooperation while still giving you the lead as the parent and getting the homework done. The next tip is to name the feeling, but hold the limit. So even when your child is having a hard time, even when they're melting down, there's a process that you can go through to help regulate those emotions, but still hold that limit and expectation. Here's what you do. If your child is getting frustrated, sad, starting to power struggle, you want to name the feeling that they're experiencing before you push them to keep going. So you can say something like, I see that math is really frustrating for you right now, and we still have to keep going for 10 minutes. The trick behind this is that when you name that feeling, it helps them understand what they're going through. It helps them organize that, and it helps calm that stress response. And it brings that thinking brain back online so that they can actually focus on what they need to. The next tip is to stick to a clear follow-through plan. So what you can do here is set a time frame and calmly follow through on that time frame, even if what they're working on doesn't get done. So for example, most kids sitting for 30 minutes is quite long. And so depending on your child, you can go 30 minutes or less, set a timer, stick to that limit, and then give them a break. And the more times you do this, the more predictable it gets. And predictability helps kids feel safe, helps them to be able to focus, knowing that next time it's only going to be the same amount of time. And the time after that is going to be the same amount of time. So every time you sit down for homework, you can pick that same time frame, and it helps them focus better. Consistency rewires the brain's expectations. So over time, your child will learn you mean what you say, and this consistency helps them feel safe and motivated. And finally, you can end with a fun, small reward. So when homework is done, you can find something fun that's connective as a family. You can play with them, What you can do ahead of time maybe is make a list of all the fun things that you guys could do together and put that list on the fridge so that when they finally get their homework done, they can go to the fridge and pick one thing that would be fun and motivating and a reward for working hard with you. It makes the homework experience that often feels frustrating, overwhelming, stressful, more positive. And so it increases their cooperation for next time, knowing that every time they do this, they have something to look forward to. So, before we talk about handling meltdowns, make sure that you hit subscribe so that you don't miss a video where I share other parenting tips like this. And if you know another mom who's struggling with homework battles, please share this video with her. Homework is one of the hardest things for parents during the school year. Getting kids to do it, getting them to be motivated to do it, and not sitting there all night long through this frustrating process. So, handling pushbacks and meltdowns. Sometimes your child is just going to push back, and that's normal. When this happens, as best as you can, stay calm because your child is going to regulate off of you and their nervous system is going to pick up on your tension. Say something like, I know this is hard. It's not easy. It's overwhelming, but it has to get done. If you need to, we can take a break and cuddle for a bit on the couch, but then we have to get back to it. You want to make sure you start by naming what they're feeling and then letting them know that it's okay to feel that way. And once they've calmed down a little bit, then you want to gently restate the boundary without debating it, without negotiating. If their frustration starts to spiral, it's okay to pause the homework, take a break, and then get back to it because nothing good happens if their thinking brain has gone offline and they're completely in fight or flight. Once they're calm, what you can do is go back to the table and then start with the two problem strategy again. You can sit with them and do a little bit so that they can maintain that control and co-regulate off of your calmness. So this sequence works because when kids are frustrated and overwhelmed, their thinking brain goes way offline. The fight or flight response, the emotional part of their brain, kicks into high gear. So reasoning, logic, any kind of conversation actually will add fuel to the fire and make their behaviors and their meltdowns much worse because the communication is most effective when their thinking brain is online. Once that's gone, they can't hear any words. It just sends them more into a spiral and uses so much more energy on your part. So it's best to make sure that you take a break, help them regulate, and then get back to it. Here's some quick mindset shifts that will help you stop feeling guilty when you set that boundary around homework. It is normal to feel guilty when enforcing boundaries around homework battles. But remember, and repeat to yourself if necessary, you're not being mean. You're being predictable, consistent, safe, and supportive. Focus on small, repeatable routines instead of one-time big punishments. Over time, these consistent, predictable rituals teach your child to get things done without the fight. And they actually build internal motivation. And finally, maintaining the boundary, even when it's challenging for your child and it takes a bit, actually is really, really good for your child because it teaches them self-discipline and responsibility. And these are really important life lessons. If homework is your daily battle, or if there's other battles that you're struggling with that are constant, daily, and frustrating, you don't have to do this alone. Click the link below to join my free Empowered Moms community membership. Drop in the comments which script that you're trying tonight, or just write homework battle or homework stuck, and I'll reply to you with a custom line that you can use with your child. If this helps you feel calmer and more prepared with homework battles, hit subscribe for more science-backed, attachment-focused parent strategies. Until next time, I'll see you soon.